Well, everybody, for those of you that are here live, we're about 36 minutes late. Had a lot of technical difficulties. I'll have to take that up with StreamYard because it's a long story. We're not going to waste your time with it. But we're here. That's the main thing for those of you who are all live. Okay, and now this is, of course, in case you didn't know by now, this is called FaB GaB, and this is an episode where we're going to be talking about A Hard Day's Night, the album that was released on July 10th, 1964. And I'm here with two of my good friends and YouTubers. We first have Beatle Brad. Hello, Brad.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Thank you for letting me do this and being here.
You don't even have to say that, man. It's a given.
Oh, wow.
And now we have, of course, great Brad, too. The great Matthew Street.
The great Brad. I love Brad. I love you, and I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for allowing me to be part of this great show.
Yeah, this is good. This is fun. We'll get it down. Mayo's Mop Tops, that was an original title I threw around, but decided to go with FaB GaB. All right, folks. So, yeah, we're here, and we're going to be talking about the Hard Day's Night album, an album where, if you think about it, a lot of fans always notice that John Lennon kind of dominates this album. Would you agree?
Oh, Brad, you want to go first? Or
go ahead, Matthew.
I was just going to say, absolutely. I've always thought of this album as the John Lennon tour de force. He just, if you want to call John Lennon from the time the Beatles were formed, the Beatle leader or the leader of the Beatles, I think this album, when it's reached its peak, its zenith. He was the leader of the Beatles, and this was the peak right on this album, I think.
Yeah, and it's also the first album, the UK albums, of all original Beatles material, no covers.
Oh, right. Good point. Yeah,
good point.
That's interesting to bring up. And, of course, I know Matthew Street loves the U.S. album. So do I. I mean, I grew up on the one from United Artists.
I see Brad has one there. I've got a CD here.
Yeah, there's this one here, which is actually a promo copy.
But I got to say one thing, Joe, though. As much as I love the U.S. albums and I grew up on them, and I do enjoy these two albums, once I discovered this, obviously the UK one, these can't hold a candle to the UK one for me anymore. Yeah, I love the UK one.
Well, of course, naturally for me too. But believe it or not, I'm starting to enjoy the U.S. albums even more. There was a period when I was growing up that I went through where I started collecting only the UK albums or a Japanese counterpart or something like that, German counterpart or something. And that was the only way I'd accept it because that's how it was intended. But I don't know why I'm finding myself, as you'll see when I talk about my choices, getting back to stuff like, I remember this on Beatles 65. I remember this on something new. And I don't know why. That's how I was introduced to a lot of these songs that are not in the actual.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And, anyway, we'll take it from there, okay?
Yeah, so like you were saying about John, I was going to comment also, like Matthew was saying, for me, I feel like John definitely dominated this, but this kind of molded the clay, as you would say, of the Beatles, because from this point on, everybody from the movie and from the album saw, John is the witty one and George is the quiet one and Paul, and all that kind of stuff. So everybody based their opinion on that. But I agree with both of you in saying that John definitely dominated this album more so, and they kind of carried it off.
Yeah. A lot of John songs on here.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go, I guess, in the order that we're situated here. So I'm going to start with, there's only 13 tracks on this. We were using 14 tracks, right? Originally with the first couple albums. This one is the third album, and we got 13 tracks. So we're going to start ranking as we do from our least favorite to our most favorite, which is, come on, guys, we all talked about this on the side.
Yeah,
this album in particular is Impossible. We see that for every Beatle album.
It was nutty. I like you were saying, I think Brad mentioned it too at one point, that just going back and forth, changing my list over and over. Finally, yesterday I said, that's it. I'm done. I can't keep playing with this thing. It's what it is. I'm going with it.
Way, right?
I was tweaking it right up to this morning. I just couldn't. Top five. I could. So anyway, without further ado, Brad, let's start with your choice for number 13.
I know both of you love this album a lot, and it's probably really hard, and I do too. So, but for number 13, When I Get Home is.
Okay.
Kind of start off with that. I mean, it's not like it's any worse or anything. It's just
Right.
that's where it had to fall in. So that's where it is for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, we got some people here coming in with that. Oh, amazing! That's pretty.
I may be wrong, but I know Joe thinks of that one a bit higher, right, Joe? If you've talked about that one in the past,
Oh,
that
you
you
never
enjoy
know.
it. Yeah.
You never know.
All right, that's right. We don't want to give away anything yet.
I could surprise you. I could surprise you.
Yeah.
And we have just an interesting one from Doc Dacus, and I love her at number 13.
Wow, and I love her's 13.
Doc,
Okay.
wow, say
Yeah,
it ain't so.
wow.
And look at this. I know. I think
Wow.
Matthew Street is gonna be kind of upset at that.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
gonna bum me out. That bums me out, but that's okay.
oh,
I love Alan. Alan's a friend of all of ours.
yeah. This is not uncommon. Robert S. Tell Me Why at number
Tell me
13.
why.
A lot
Okay.
of people put that one at number 13 and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Jazzy Jimmy puts it last here. You know, so
Boy, I'm gonna get
uh,
in trouble for my 13. Maybe I don't know.
okay, Brad, is there any reason in particularly that you could say why?
No. I mean, we talked a little bit about this, and I'm totally agreeing with Matthew Street. This is such a hard, great album.
Oh, I know.
That you just I mean, you could go ballistic trying to find the last one to be the last one.
Yeah. How do you, when you got 13 great tracks, how do you put one at 13? It's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
But
And also disagree that we love the album. I mean, they're really,
Sure.
if I came up to Paul McCartney and said, "Oh man, I hate this song,"
just from hearing both of you speak, I could tell you're probably like me. When you play this album, you don't skip a song. It's not like you're skipping
I
a
don't
song.
skip songs. That's one of my things. I don't skip songs really on any album.
Yeah.
Beatles or so. That doesn't mean when it comes to of course, Beatles, I'll just play it all. Revolution 9, the whole thing. But when, even solo Beatles, I don't know. Just for those particular artists, the Beatles and solo, I play the whole thing. That's just me.
Yeah.
Some people skip tracks.
But in America, the American one, with the instrumentals that are on the American album, I get a little tired of those. I mean, they're great George Martin contributions to the album, but I'd rather just go clearly through the album, like Joe was saying, and just
Right.
enjoy it.
Yep. Say no more. Let's see. What's this?
Okay.
James Bell, Can't Buy Me Love shouldn't have been the A-side.
Well, I do like the flip. You can't do that. It's a great.
Well, you never know if I like it. I do like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt. So let's go for your.
I'll go for my 13. Like I said, and Brad has alluded to this as you have. There's no bad tracks on here. They're all what's your least favorite, because I love them all. And nothing against George. He got thrown a bone here by the guys. Like I think John said in an interview, "Hey, we got to give George a piece of the action, so we're going to give him this song to sing." And it's "I'm Happy Just to Dance with You." I put it number 13. Now it's a fun song, kind of a throwaway song from John, but it's still a wonderful song. I love it. Ringo on the bongos, and it's just a great, great track. I do enjoy it, but if I had to pick a least favorite, "I'm Happy Just to Dance with You" is my 13.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Well, my number 13, and this is going to surprise some people who know I'm a real John guy, more or less. I put "I'll Cry Instead" at number 13.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'll show you the main way I'm cheating with this.
You're cheating?
Some of you may know. Now, I grew up with this with another extra line in it, another extra verse in it.
The verse, yeah.
So I'm putting it at number 13 here because the original UK album cheats us out of a verse.
Oh, is the USLP version that's longer?
I believe it is. I hope I'm getting this correct.
Okay.
If I made a mistake here.
No. You're probably right. I can't remember.
Yeah, the US album, and I think the single, and also one of the versions of "Something New." I don't forget if it's the stereo or the mono. One of them, the "Something New," has the extra verse, which he sings again. The first line: "I got every reason on earth to be mad," etc., etc. And people,
the German pressing has it too as well.
Which
the
one?
German pressing of the vinyl, which the German one, that one right there.
Okay.
Oh, is that the one I have? Brad, is this a German here? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like yours. Yeah. Okay.
3 years. Well, because a lot of people, when they talk about it, they think that, well, the first line was just copied and then used again. It wasn't. He sings it differently the second time. You can hear the little nuances in the voice, and there's even a guitar part or something like that. But so that's the only way that I can have that song. I do like the song. I think but in a way, as it is, when it's shortened, it's not much of a song, really. Maybe it's not much of a song overall, but I do like John's lyrics. It's like it's candid. It's him talking about that infamous chip on his shoulder that he had that's bigger than his feet.
His feet. Yeah, I like that line.
It's one of John's early introspective songs where he doesn't, he's saying, I'm not taking any garbage. I'm mad. I'm gonna, and I'm gonna, take it out on the world, which is it's only in a song, really, but or maybe we wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it. And it was easy to put it last using the old edited version as an excuse. So that's number 13 on this album for me.
Good. Okay.
I'm going to just take a moment here. It's not easy to keep up with all the comments all the time.
Sure, go if you want to check out it.
Jack agrees. He does sing it differently. I heard it. Let's see what we got here. Matt Gregory, the UK and US Hard Day's Night album, both unique, even mono with the different mixes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tim Allen chimes in to say that number 13 was When I Get Home.
Okay. Match Brad on that. Match Brad with that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim's.
This is interesting. Robert P. It was made longer to play in the movie, but taken out, replaced. Yeah, well, of course, that's true. That's a good point too. We forgot to say that was not in the movie. I'll Cry Instead. Not featured in the movie. Later on, they tacked it on at the beginning for the 1982.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, and in the theaters and the two when they showed it. So the infamous.
That's too bad. It's a cute little song. I mean.
Oh, it is. It is.
So there you go. That's it. So now we're going to go to number 12, and we're going to start with Beatle Brad. What's your number 12 pick?
Yeah, wow. Like I said, this gets harder and harder because there's so much on this album. But for me, And I Love Her was my number 12.
That's
which is a good song, but just after seeing it so many different times on like Sullivan and Hard Day's Night and all that, it's a great song. I have nothing wrong with it, but it's just. I just had to throw it in there somewhere. It's one of those where I even scratched it out several times. It probably went through the paper.
Yeah, I know. Hey, say no more. We keep saying that like we're kind of like we have to do. We're obligated to say that. Oh, the Beatles of all the songs. But like everybody, let's face it, this is impossible. All right.
It really is. The thing I like about it is though, you got that extra guitar version on the end of it, which was an extended one that came out.
Oh yeah,
and all that. And
right.
Beautiful. I kind of like the extra one. I almost wish they kind of kept that in the original.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Some things, it's funny how some of these extra flourishes and things I like, some I don't. I personally don't care for the extra one. I'd rather have it the way it usually is, personally. We can't agree all the time, but that's
the fun of this,
It is.
We've got to disagree sometimes.
Next week,
mix it up a little bit.
Robert S. says, I'm sure the ranking will be all over the place for this album.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think,
Tom Hunyadi, ouch, number 12.
Sorry,
he was the first one to say it instead of me.
Sorry, Tom.
Ouch. Okay, gotcha, Brett. All right, so now we'll move over to Matt for number 12.
All right, my number 12 again. This might raise some eyebrows, as Brad's might also. I picked "If I Fell" for my number 12.
Oh wow!
It's an up-tempo John ballad, one of his first that he ever really sat down to write a serious ballad. Very pleasant song. I like the duet and the vocals between John and Paul. I love this song. It's a great song, but they played it live even on the 64 US tour, I remember, but it just had to go somewhere, and it's not my favorite ballad on this album. So I dropped it to 12.
I
love it. I love it.
I agree. It's never been a favorite of mine either, believe it or not, but I don't feel so bad when we get to my ranking of it, because 12 is lower than mine. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So number 12, I went with "I'm Happy Just to Dance with You."
Really?
Again, a song, love it anytime. I catch it on the radio a lot. I don't know why. They seem to play that one a lot. I'm on the radio station I listen to, which is an AM, really oldie station. And, I love the way George sings it. It's fun in the film, the way they perform it in the film. And I love the closing "oh" at the end. I love the way they end the song. But, it's really a minor song from John that, was written, like you said, to throw George a bone kind of thing. So that's why I kind of put it where I do. Still, again, really adore the hell out of the song. I really adore it. But, something's got to go number 12. So that's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see now if we can find some comments here.
And for any of the comments that are ready to throw me out for putting If I Fell at 12, all I can tell you is, folks, I love the song.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful, lovely song.
I mean, we have to say that like so many times. I know.
I know.
To people,
it's like
know.
You got to clarify. I love the Beatles.
It's Matt Gregory. If I Fell is good. Love Paul and John harmony, and so do you.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and so do I. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's see. We have Marcus Thompson, and I Love Her, and If I Fell, both top five.
Okay, I can see it. I can see it. It's a great song.
Okay. What else do we have here? Oliver wants to know, why does everyone put that track low? That is my number one. And Oliver's a young fan, and
If I Fell is number one, huh?
I feel great that a young fan puts that at number one. You know,
it's a great song, though. You know, it's just there's nothing wrong with it. There's, the song is great, really. So
this is the first time in this one that I'm lost.
The flawless Beatles album.
No, I mean I am lost. So just help me out here when I'm doing the comments. Where are we up to? Who are you up to?
Oh, we're up to Brad doing his number 11.
Okay, so we're starting with up to number 11.
Yeah.
As I continue to monitor some comments. All right.
Everybody got their 12 in. Yep.
Number 11, Brad, start us off.
Okay, number 11 for me is by George Harrison, Piggies.
Piggies, yes.
All righty. Oh,
that's the 12-string Rickenbacker version, right?
You're all paying attention. I'll be back.
Ooh.
Yeah, for me, number 11. Just the only reason is it's really not a song that you hear that much of. I mean, I very seldom hear it on XM or even my oldies channel or any of that. And it's a good song, but it just hit at number 11. I mean, like I said, this is actually a horrible album to rate.
Hey, can we quit? No.
Yeah, we're going.
A reputation. It's what little we have anyway.
Like Brad says in his video, we're out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. How about you, Matt?
Okay, my number 11 is "I'll Cry Instead." Again, a bouncy, fun song. It's a kind of Beatles country western romp. You got that George on rockabilly guitar, which I love. And like you mentioned earlier, chip on my shoulder that's bigger than my feet. I love lines like that, the way he writes clever lines. It's a great fun song, and I really enjoy it. And I like the longer version myself, but I had to put it somewhere, and unfortunately it falls to number 11. Great song, though. Okay,
thank you very much. And now number 11, I'm surprised to hear myself pick this at number 11, and it hasn't been mentioned yet. And because when I was a kid, I liked this song a lot, but I don't know why. Still love it, but I don't know why it's fallen down for me in this link. It's I Should Have Known Better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
I'm a fan of the John harmonica. Love the harmonica. Don't know what else to say. Why it is just sometimes those things happen. It does. I don't love it. I mean, it could have at one point when I was a kid, and not because of childhood thing. Some people say, "Well, I grew up," and I don't mean it like I grew up and I'm too highfalutin now for it. I just mean whatever reason I loved it as a kid. It could have been my number one song when I was like I don't know, 12, something like that. I was like, oh man, that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
I don't know why. One side memory, I remember there was a New Year's Eve party that I went with a bunch of adults. They were all getting drunk, and we were the kids. We had to like go in the other, just watch TV or something.
Yeah, get in the other room while we drink and smoke.
And I requested I should have known better. And all night it took for them. They just had 45s. They would stack 45s, and they would just drop the 45s. And I'm like, what are they going to play? It took hours for them to put it on. But then I think of it, I should have known better at a New Year's Eve party. Wouldn't exactly be the best. One. Although I do remember one of my uncles playing "Big Girls Don't Cry" on the 45, and he was so drunk. I thought, I was shocked. He comes in and he's like, he's singing. I'm like, what's wrong with him? But anyway, so anyway,
is he not feeling well?
So there you go. I don't know what to say. It's a good song. Maybe I'm a little more tired of it or something. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Should have known, but that's the wrong one. Hello, Alan. See, what happens is they move so fast when you go to copy.
Right. You go to click one.
There's another one comes up. I should have known better. Can't Buy Me Love. Also from the Hey Jude company.
Yes.
True that.
That might be when I first got turned on to those songs when I was a little kid and got that album. Yeah.
So, are we up to the top 10?
We're up to the top 10 already,
Right, top
believe it
10.
or not.
Well, this is tough, boys. So anyway, how many times we're
It's
going
harder and harder.
Speaking of drinking, take a shot every time one of us says this is tough and we can't.
I know, maybe we gotta get rid of that saying that, but I tell you, we gotta come up with a different line.
All right, so Brad, why don't you very reluctantly start us off?
Okay, yeah, but just real quick, like you were saying, Joe, let me feed off onto what you're saying. I think if you're just starting off into Beatles, Hard Day's Night seems to be the one that you start off with as an album or a CD. If you're going to be collecting or just starting to listen to their music, that seems to be the first album that everybody goes to.
Yep. It's a favorite. And a lot of people put that in their top bunch of favorites. Maybe because it's all original compositions. A lot of times when they rate the early ones, they forget about with the Beatles. Or maybe Please Please Me, okay, but people usually say, "Oh, that's the one from the early, Hard Day's Night," because it's the only one without covers out of the first four.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's number 10?
Number 10 for me was Things We Said Today.
Ah.
Yeah, which it's a good song. I really like this song a lot. But see, the thing is about this disappointing to me about this is actually this is one of the ones that ended up on the cutting room floor as one of the videos going to be in Hard Day's Night as well. I've actually got the whole video, and I don't know why I didn't make it. It's just they had to cut something because of the film being length and all that. But
right,
it was a good song, and I think they were kind of, the Beatles were proud of that song themselves, and Paul especially, and it's one of those that he even still sings today in concert.
Yeah, things he says today too, still. All right, Brad. Okay, so let's move over to you now, Matthew. What do you say?
All right, so my number 10 is going to be When I Get Home. A fabulous rocker, and I think kind of heavy for its day. Back in '64, that was a pretty heavy rocker.
I agree.
R&B, Ringo's drums, he's pounding out on the drums. The only part that not annoys me, but gets a little bit much at times is the whoa, whoa, ah, that a little bit much at times. But for the most part, I think it's a great song, and I'll say it's one of the heaviest early rockers, and I do enjoy it, but it had to go somewhere. Number 10.
All right. I understand that. Number 10, When I Get Home for You. Number 10 for me, Things We Said Today.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So me and Brad got that one. By the
yeah,
way,
you matched.
We don't check each other's, of course, obviously, as you can probably tell.
No, yeah, no. It's always kind of neat when one of us matches. It's like, cool.
It's a very good song. It's a very good song. Again, it's just not among my very top choices. And for a while, I might have had a little out of the top 10. I said, no, I respect that a little more. I'm putting it in number 10. I'm going to call it the bridge. I like the bridge part. Me, I'm not going to sing. Me, I'm just a lucky.
Yeah.
That lucky kind. I should say. Paul sings it as lucky guy. I think when he's live.
Lucky guy, yeah.
Lucky kind. Anyway, very, very good song. Of course, I grew up with that in the U.S. on Something New.
And
I love it there. I still love it there. So that's number 10 for me.
All right.
Let's see now. Oh, yeah, I'm glad this was brought up. Mark Casterly. Has anyone heard Bob Dylan's version of Things We Said Today for the art of McCartney? Well, I have. I hate it. But
I have not heard that. No,
I don't hate Bob Dylan. I like Bob Dylan. I'm a fan and have most of his albums, and I'm not one of those guys that tears him apart because of his singing
voice. Yeah,
but with that song, it's awful. In my opinion, I hate that version. But it'd be interesting to try it out if you want to see how bad it is. But some people may like it. I'd like to know. Some people do.
Yeah.
What do we got? Lingo McHarrison. No Beatles song is low, but if you have to rank them, some have to be lower. That's exactly right. Thank you.
Can't put them all at number 5 or better.
Support. Things we said
we could try.
Let's see. Things we said today. Good. At 10. One of the first tunes that Paul wrote about Jane Asher.
Okay.
Didn't even put that together. Very good. Okay. And then this is it about Dylan. I think his arrangement is close to being better than the Beatles in arrangement-wise.
Oh, Sam! I know Sam is. Hi, Sam. Sam's a big Dylan fan. So.
Oh, Sam St. John is a big.
Yes, he's a huge Dylan fan. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Sam. All right, so Now I think I know where we are. So that was number 10. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
going to go to
Number. Well, I'm not going to say it.
no, I'll do it. Number 9.
You do it.
I know last time I was like, no, we're not going to, because it's so obvious that we're going to. You can't help it, folks. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I know what you noticed, by the way. I
We're
find
Beatle nuts.
Matthew in his videos, Matthew Street and Matthew always says, "Hey, folks, folks," and that's how I talk. I don't want anybody to think
I know I do that. I try to watch for like repeating stuff like that, folks. But it's just it's my vernacular. You know?
I don't want people to think, "Oh, you're ripping that off Matthew Street." No, I say, "Folks," too, folks.
It's all talk, you know. So words a lot.
You talk more talk. That's a plug. Talk more talk tomorrow on YouTube. Okay,
that's right.
All right. Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook later.
Facebook.
All right, number 9. We'll start with you, of course, Beetle Brad. What do you have for number 9?
Oh boy, I'll cry instead.
Somebody agrees with you. Collapsible agrees with you.
Oh wow, how about that? You get your comment in there real quick. Good job. Well, it's a great song. You know, I keep saying that to every one of them, but you know, golly, I mean, this is, you know, you can almost lose sleep trying to pick out the top 13 of these, you know, but that just happens to rank in there of All Crying Sad, you know. It's just, but it's a beautiful song. It's well ranged, well written, well done. I mean, golly, you know, I mean, here's these guys in '64, and everybody's thinking, well, we'll get this movie out because they won't last long, you know, basically is the reason for it.
I could see that song not fitting in the movie. I don't know. It doesn't fit. But something like Things We Said Today might have been nice in a Paul moment or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But
you wonder if he at some point was supposed to have his own solo scene in the movie.
Yeah,
you wonder if there would have been a song attached to it. You know,
that's a shame he didn't get one because everybody else got one. It was a chorus girl scene. It was with a chorus.
I think they tried to work with it, but it just somehow didn't pan out. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about you, Matthew Street?
All right, my number 9 is Things We Said Today. Great upbeat Paul ballad, striking opening riff. That acoustic guitar just kicks it off. I love that. They played it on the '64 tour, which was fantastic. It's probably one of their earliest songs that I consider like moody and kind of deep sounding. It just has that, I don't know, a moody vibe to it. Just really kind of, I don't want to say dark, but it just has a really cool vibe. And with that acoustic guitar riff in there, it just grabs you. And I love it. Great song, but it's number 9. Has to go somewhere.
Marcus Thompson reminds us about the Paul scene. They cut it because his acting was not good. I thought I remember hearing that.
He couldn't cut it.
It didn't get much better by the time of Give My Regards to Broad Street, did it?
Yeah, I know. He didn't improve, in 20 years.
That's up for debate, of course, but I always felt Paul was maybe the weakest of the 3 as acting. You know, I think Ringo and George were actually the best, maybe. I don't know. That's another show when we get to it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. So good choice, I think. Number 9, that's where I have If I Fell Falling.
We were kind of close on that one.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know what it is. Again, probably, overexposure, hearing it a lot and stuff, which you can say for so many Beatles songs. You know, I respect it. I always think of that song as being like the kind of opposite side of And I Love Her. You have the 2 ballads, one from John, one from Paul, And I Love Her and If I Fell. I think that If I Fell is as much as I love John, is slightly less than And I Love Her. You know, I mean, I like And I Love Her better. Yeah. So that's it, folks. That's how it falls. Let's see, what do we got here? I'd like to make an honorable mention, highlight the instrumental version of This Boy. You got it. I
do like that too.
Ringo's theme, so to speak. Yeah. I love that. That's one of the reasons I love listening. I love soundtrack albums. I love movies. I love, incidental music. So I'm cool with the U.S. Version as well.
Well, it's nice that we can have both now. You know, nowadays you can have the UK, you can have the US, whatever.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
That's right.
So, all right. So that was number 9. Now we're going to go around and we're going to start with Brad for number 8. What do you got for 8, Brad?
Well, number 8 was for me. Tell Me Why.
Okay, tell me why you feel that way.
Please.
It's a good song. I like the song, but actually when watching it on Hard Day's Night, it almost seems like they're kind of like they've done it several times and almost kind of bored with it or with the rest of them. And I'm sure they had a difficult time, because when Hard Day's Night did come out and all that kind of stuff, I've heard this, and I don't know if this is true because it's never really come about, but I've heard there's at least 8 or 9 to 10 hours worth of outside footage that hasn't been shown.
Oh, wow.
Which, that they said hit the cutting room floor. And for those of you that are commenting just for fun, Hard Day's Night was not the original title. It was going to be Beatlemania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As much as I love the title, A Hard Day's Night, thanks to Ringo, one of his odd sayings, Beatlemania would have been cool too, especially now in retrospect.
It would have, but it was a rushed film, that's for sure. But with the anthology and all that, I'm really surprised that they really didn't come up with some extra footage. And it's out there. It's just a matter of getting a better copy. And there's some stuff floating around that's very, very rare. And I wish they would come together and put something out like that instead of just kind of rehashing the same other ones.
Okay. And you now, sir.
Well, let's keep that same conversation going as Brad started. My number 8 is matching Brad for the first time. It's Tell Me Why.
Oh, wow.
I love it. It cooks. I mean, that song just cooks.
Yeah.
And I love, my favorite part, I always consider it kind of like the Beatles R&B girl group song. It's like with that high falsetto response they do in like somewhere in the middle of the song. Anything I can do. It just reminds me of a girl group kind of vibe to it. R&B, Ringo's killer drums. I just love it. I love it. It's a great song. It's one I remember as a little kid when my parents got me this one, the Hard Day's Night soundtrack.
Ooh.
And I've always loved it. But there's just 7 other songs that needed to go a little ahead of it. So Tell Me Why. I'm with you, Brad. Number 8.
Yeah, you were saying about the girls singing higher, kind of like you could see other groups. My wife's in the background singing it right now. I know you guys can't hear.
Yes, Tell Me Why was
love that part
during the concert sequence.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the film. That's a critique I have about the film. I don't think I can stand about the movie is which I otherwise love, but when you watch that concert scene, they repeat, I should have known better. They repeat, If I Fell.
Right.
Before. You could have put something else in that, I thought.
Yeah.
Now, all right, so my number 8, Anytime at All, which is kind of low when you think about it. That's another song that I think, I know for a fact when I was younger and I was really into something new, that album, with a bunch of songs, the way they sequenced them, that Anytime at All was a smash, and it still is. It has to be in my top 10. I grew up with it on something new, strong track, great track, just falling a little bit for me. Okay, so now we do this part here. Sorry, George. Happy Just to Dance with You, number 7. I can't say the name. Jennifer Go says Anytime at All was covered by the Hudson Brothers.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that either, really. Huh. Hudson Brothers, interesting.
Fix that hole, Joe. I'm lost. Okay, now we're going to go to number 7.
We are at 7. Yes, we are.
All right, so number 7, Brad, start us off.
Okay. Wow. I'm just kind of going right off of the heels of Joe, since we're talking about the same song, Anytime at All. And I love it because the song doesn't start like a Beatles song. You get the drums, boom, and then starting off with the guitar, and you go, pound, anytime at all. You get the guitar riff right at the beginning of it. And, the drums and the guitar, and you're really taken into another dimension when you hear this song, because it almost drives you into hearing this song kind of taking you somewhere else, because it's just a rocking song when they bring it in with the drums and the guitar. You can hear the whole working it out when they're playing it.
Yeah, you're right. The drums are fabulous.
Yeah, the drums I think are underrated on that song and really doesn't get talked about, because people just kind of say, well, it's kind of a Beatles song, it's definitely that. But I think this song is actually almost was very much higher in my ranking, but it's number 7 for me.
Oh.
Okay, number 7.
Right,
and how about you, Matthew Street?
Well, I'm going with, I'm losing track. I should keep notes here, but I know one of you mentioned this song already. My number 7 is I Should Have Known Better.
That was me, yeah.
Was that you? Okay. I again, like you mentioned, John's harmonica. I love the opening harmonica. It just grabs you right away, pulls you right in. Very simple but effective guitar solo, which I believe is played by George on the 12-string. It's in the train scene at the beginning of the movie. It's a great song, and like you mentioned, Joe, it's one of those songs that when I was a little kid and I was first listening to that Hard Day's Night soundtrack album, I fell in love with that song. I just loved it. But it may have been higher years ago, as you mentioned, but I'm putting it somewhere in the middle now. I've got it at number 7.
Okay, and when you mentioned the harmonica part, I've always preferred the one that doesn't break. I think the stereo version is one where it kind of stops and then continues a little bit.
Stops and then, there's a little.
Yeah, I like the one that's continuous. That's one of those little touches that in the versions.
Yeah. So, that's the one thing I'm not good at knowing. Like, okay, I know I like the one that continues with the harmonica, but I don't know, like, what is it on a mono or stereo? You guys are better at that stuff than I am.
The stereo one is the one that breaks off, and
we stereo breaks. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't talk either about If I Fell. Also, going back to that, there's the version where Paul's voice cracks or he stops singing or something.
Which version is the one he cracks? He cracks on the. Is it the mono or the stereo?
I have no need for that version.
See, those are things I'm not up on too.
Yeah, I think that's stereo. The stereo also. It kind of cracks or stops singing it or whatever. And
it does crack. Right in the song, it does crack. I mean, it's fun. It's almost fun because they were working so fast to getting the songs done. You can find all kinds of mistakes in Beatle albums. I mean, we can almost do a show on that because there's just tons of mistakes in practically every album.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So number 7 for me, that's where I put When I Get Home, which is a song that I'm always defending.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I call it the most underrated Beatles song. So many people put it near the bottom, but there's another one that they put near the bottom that I'll get to later. A lot of people, when I ask them, well, why do you feel that way? They say, oh, that line, I'm going to love her till the cows come home. And I'm like, really? Everybody's got their opinion. That's a saying that was routine then. I mean, I always knew that, till the cows come home. It's, it's a little awkward. Maybe you could have come up with a better line in there, but that doesn't stop the song for me because I think that I love the whoa, 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 I part. I know that's what you mentioned.
That's the part I mentioned.
You were a big fan of it because it's like, I don't know what it was. Like, it's something different on a theme. I mean, they usually go like, I don't know, like, oh, or yeah, or something. But this was whoa, whoa, which is kind of kind of different. Whoa, whoa, I instead of like yeah, or whatever. I love John's vocal on it and powerful.
Oh yeah,
intense vocal, and I love after the whoa, 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 I part. You get that kind of crash Ringo. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa. I love that Ringo drum bit that he does after that. Bit.
Yeah, his drumming stands out, and that's another song. His drumming really stands out.
And not being much of a guitarist, but that that whole jingle jangle thing. I love that. I mean, come on. I you know what? It's number 1. I changed my mind.
Heavy song for its day. Like I mentioned earlier, it was a heavy track.
You did say that. You did say that.
That's powerful.
Oh, geez, I almost wrote that. Put something, highlighted something here, but I'm not going to highlight that. Then I actually like Slow Down coming after it better. Yeah, harking back to the something new.
Something new. Yeah.
And as I said, that was not part of these recordings, right? Slow Down, but that's why you just get something in your head from nostalgia, from youth. And it sticks with you. And those albums still stick with me that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's put this here by Christian Dahl. Let's take a break. Like your shirt, Matt. Where did you get it?
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Beatles. And just go online in your search engine and put in Teenage Mutant Ninja Beatles t-shirt, and you'll get a couple of sites that will pop up, and you can pick which one you'd prefer. But they're available. They're not official, but you can get them.
It's a nice shirt. I think it's cool. I've not seen that one. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know how the colors are coming through, but you got John, the blue and the red, the orange, the purple, and it's just one of those quirky shirts I like. I know Brad wears a lot of fun Beatles shirts. Joe does. It's always fun to get something different. So any of you that want to know, just go to your search engine and put in exactly as it's titled here, and it should pop up.
And there's a nice observation by Martin McGrath, the only ever Lennon-McCartney album. and that is special in its own right.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
No George songs. No.
It's all Lennon McCartney. I never really even considered something obvious like that. It's incredible. All right, so now we're going to number 6, I believe, and going around at the beginning with Beatle Brad. Number 6. What did you
well, we just
crunch time.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we just talked about this, and we kind of really drove this song home. But I still number 6 for me. I should have known better.
Okay, we're close on that one too.
Sorry, I couldn't even read my own writing. Yeah, I should have known better. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, with Joe, when you're talking about the harmonica and Matthew Street, when you guys are talking about that. I mean, it's almost kind of a Beatle bluesy song, with that harmonica, because back in the 50s, harmonicas were huge. I mean, like today, 2021, we very, very rarely have a song with a harmonica in it now. But I just think it's a great song. It's just comes across as a real smooth, kind of almost like a jazz great song, but it's up tempo jazz, so it's kind of a back and forth song like that.
Oh, okay, well said.
Great tune.
Okay, let's see. Okay, love the If I Fell. It says the video to If I Fell, like the scene from A Hard Day's Night, really, where John serenades Ringo, and when he does If I Fell. Yeah.
It's a brilliant song. It sure is.
It is. All right. It is.
All right. So now it's up to you, Matthew Street.
Number 6. I am going with this may raise some eyebrows, but I love the song. I'll Be Back. That's my number 6. Great John and Paul duet. That killer note that John hits, when he goes, I'm not going to sing it, but when he sings, I thought that you would realize, when he hits that note, it just grabs you. It's just so emotional. That smooth, relaxing tune and great acoustic guitar fills. If you listen to it really close, the fills they're doing on the acoustic guitar. And I think John, I don't know if it was the Playboy interview in 1980, but I think he really liked this one. I think this I'll Be Back was one of his favorites of his own early songs that he wrote with them. And it's a killer song. It's great, but I put it at number 6.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's an interesting place to put that song because I put it at number 6.
Wow.
And I had it in my top for a long time. I had it number 5 in my top 5. Because I really like that song a lot. But then at the last moment, I kind of switched a couple of them. What can I say? And such a good point about that note when John hits that I part. And it's great when you hear the anthology outtakes, how the progression of that song, how it went from like a waltz kind of thing.
A waltz, yeah.
I can't even believe it. If we could hear all of those outtakes, which I'd love to hear one day, the early outtakes, especially if you're listening, 63, say all the way to 65. I would love to hear all these because it just changed how it went. And there's a part there where John laughs that it's too hard to sing. He's trying to do that part, and eventually he got it the way that he changed it, and together John and Paul singing it, really right, just magic. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's one of my favorites. Beatles 65 is where I grew up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it was recorded in 64, this is for the new year of 65 coming up, I guess you could say. And I love where they put it on that album too. After Honey Don't? I think Honey Don't.
No, I don't have it in front of me, but you might be right.
I like the way it fits in there. Some of those sequencings that I like better than the original albums. Never could get used to it as the last song, but it's a nice way to end the album on the UK. It's the last song on the album in the UK.
We'll be back. I'll be back.
It's nice, but I still always love it where it is on Beatles 65. But number 6 for me, I'll Be Back.
Yep.
And let's see, what do we got here?
We're in the top
5. I prefer I'll Be Back over a song like Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm wrong comment. I'll Be Back. My number 6. Kathy Kirk says.
Kathy matched.
Okay, and here's James Boyce. I'll Be Back.
Oh, number 1.
That's
wow. Okay.
Hey, I can't argue with that though. It's a great song.
It's pretty good. Okay, so you know what this means, guys. This means the top 5.
Top 5. This is where it gets really tough.
Here we go.
You're gonna start, Brad.
Yeah, I was gonna say this would be starting with me. Oh boy. Number 5 for me is "You Can't Do That."
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I know this could be lower. This should be lower, and this probably is lower. But I mean, I love this song, and the sad thing about this song is, if you could pick a sad thing, they pulled this out of the movie. So one of those extras that ended up in one of the DVD outtakes or
Right.
something like that.
And it was on stage. He sang it on stage at Scala Opera House.
Yeah, yeah,
Imagine,
exactly.
I mean, I can't believe, I mean, take out that you're doing "If I Fell Again," and also, "I Should Have Known Better" again, and
Yeah,
put that in there. I mean,
yeah, because it was a good song, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
the exciting thing, if you've seen those films, I'm sure both of you have, and the exciting part is up in the crowd. They show Phil Collins is in the crowd as one of the
right.
extras.
I could never spot him.
Yeah, they had to put a
There was,
circle around
yeah,
him.
there was a DVD where they did.
Oh,
Yeah, they did
oh,
the
thank
circle
you.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
say,
They
"There's
highlighted them in one
Yeah,
of those old the documentaries.
And
Yeah.
he always talks in the documentary about being chosen as one of the extras, and that was kind of as I said, it was a song that Joe, you just said it, and you said it perfectly. That this song should have been in the movie and should have been part of that, because when they're on stage and they're performing, I think everybody's really getting into that. So it's like that song would have just really flowed right in with the rest of all the rest of the live ones in that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I have a thing about in movies when they repeat a song. I
Yeah,
mean, even if it's like the first U.S. visit, which I was watching the documentary, and a
Yeah.
couple of songs, "All My Loving" is more than once, and I don't know if "She Loves You" is more than once. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. Just a thing. Some people don't mind, but if I'm watching one film or something, like don't repeat it. It's the only
yeah.
part that the only this very tiny gripe I have with the otherwise excellent film "A Hard Day's
It's
Night."
like, okay, I've already heard this, I've already seen it. So let's see
Right.
the clip. There's tons out there. Let's see something else.
Well, you're off the hook now, and we got to move on now to Matthew
Yeah.
Street for number
Well,
5.
my number 5. We're me and Brad are a duo here on a couple of
Oh,
songs today. I have "You Can't Do That" as my number 5.
oh, wow.
Rhythm and blues, baby, rhythm and blues style rocker. John said, I read it. I was trying to do a little research about it before. He called it his Wilson Pickett period. This is like him trying to do Wilson Pickett.
Yeah.
I always think of the Saturday Night Live skit, "More cowbell, please." We need more
Yeah,
cowbell.
yeah.
I got a fever, and it calls for more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Yeah, but I love the cowbell in it. It fits the song. I love his John. John really did well. I'm sure he did many, but he seemed like he didn't do guitar solos a lot in the Beatles. He left it to George or Paul did a few at the end of their career. But here, John really gives a good raw rocking guitar solo. It's pure John, and it just sounds wonderful. And yeah, I love this song. I had to make my top 5. You Can't Do That, number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, Lingo McHarrison says more cowbell. See,
More cowbell.
Yeah, more cowbell.
I say less cowbell. I'm not a cowbell fan, and
Less
I like
cowbell.
I should when I get to "You Can't Do That," which I haven't mentioned yet. I should say I'm just gonna make a note here so I don't forget. Remind me if I forget that. They had that routine. Was it Saturday Night Live with more cowbell or something like that? Who was it that was
Yeah,
singing?
it was the characters playing Blue Oyster Cult doing "Don't Fear the Reaper,"
Uh,
and one of the guys playing the cowbell, and what's his name, Christopher Watkin.
yeah.
He's like the producer coming in and out of the studio begging for more cowbell. It's
Yeah.
really funny if you get
Well,
a
that's
chance.
why
to see.
I like something like. Well, I'll wait till I get to "You Can't Do That" to talk about that. I was gonna segue it in, but all right. So that was your number 5, right?
5. Yep. Yep.
My number 5, "Tell Me Why." It's always been a favorite of mine. I was speaking earlier that there's another song that's always kind of near the bottom very often when people say, "What's the worst Beatles song?" I don't know. I just can't fathom why people put "Tell Me Why" as one of their worst Beatles songs. Maybe it's those harmonies like that you kind of singing along with. I can't do. I love that. I love that
I love that part.
Yeah.
harmony into there. I think it's an underrated song. Unfortunately, I love that moment when it's in "A Hard Day's Night" and they're singing it, live, and it's always been a favorite of mine. That's why it had been out of the top 5 when I first did this list, and as I was changing it around, I said, you know what? I got to move it into the top 5, and I bumped out "I'll Be Back," which wasn't easy to do because I love that too. So that's my number 5. Okay, now what do we have here? Oh, great pick, Joe. Oh, we agreed on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
That's good. It's all right.
Tell me why is 8 for Sam St. John.
I think that's where I had it too. Yeah.
Let's see. Agree, Joe. That song has so much energy. Josh.
Oh yeah.
Tim Allen. Tell me why. Number 4. No, I won't.
It's a secret.
Yeah, right. I should have met John's vocals on "Tell Me Why" are fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, there I say I always love my favorite version of that is the stereo version of "Something New." So just enough slight echo in it. I love it. It comes in like. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, not to get away from things, but John's vocals on this entire album is phenomenal.
Yeah, really strong, isn't it?
He really. This is his album. This is
I mean, I don't know what it is, but I listen to them like again. Sometimes I prefer the mono. It's the only way to go for me. I go song by song.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the breaking of the voice for Paul, and "If I Fell." I like the mono because it doesn't break. I like the "Please Please Me" song in mono because it's not that little mistake that John does. I never, or whatever he says.
The words are different. Yeah.
But there's other ones where I prefer stereo from here. Tell Me Why. When I listen to it, the mono one, it's like it starts when I listen to it in stereo, like on something.
Yeah.
It comes crashing in. I mean, what a difference!
It does.
Sorry.
No, you're right. It's great to point out that stuff because there are these little nuances that can make the listening experience so different between the mono and stereo.
So where? Oh boy, where do I feel like I got sidetracked? Help me back again. We were at
you just did your 5, and so now Brad's up to his 4.
Number 4.
Wow,
okay.
and now we're really getting up to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, this is
nitty gritty time.
This might as well start off at 13 and do it again because it's
let's do that.
or like Nancy Street said, and Joe, you said it. We can put number 1 and just go ahead and say all of them are number 1, or something like that. But for me, number 4, I'm happy just to dance with you.
Oh, wow, you got that real high. Good.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I got that really high because it just seems like a real happy, good song that you just really kind of can get into. And if you're not really even a Beatles fan, you're like, well, it's just a little bit different enough to where you could kind of catch the tune. And it's one of those earworms that just kind of sticks with you in the middle of the day when you're working. You're going, happy just to dance with you. And you're like, wait a minute, that's that song.
What do you do? Dance around, Brad?
yeah. That's why I get off work early, because then I'd go home for singing. So
just doing your dance with me. All right, so let's go move on to Matthew Street for number 4.
Number 4 for me is I consider an early Beatles standard, "And I Love Her." I think it was a single, but it didn't even reach the top 10. I think it just missed the top 10 when it was a single, but it's a beautiful song. And like I say, one of Paul's first classic ballads, in my opinion. Tons of covers. This song hasn't been covered as much as Yesterday, but it's up there. A lot of artists have covered "And I Love Her." You got that perfect George Harrison solo. It's so simple, yet so expressive and so emotional. It melts my heart every time I hear it. The percussion in this song is very interesting. The Beatles are starting, I shouldn't say starting, because they were doing it on some of the first couple of albums, but you got some bongos in here. You got, I think, George or Ringo playing the claves or something. It's a lot going on in this song, and it's just a wonderful classic Beatles song. And as much as I've heard it a gazillion times, I still had to give it its props, and I made it my number 4. And I love her.
Good choice. Real good.
Really good choice. You know how I know that? Because that's where I put "And I Love Her." Number 4. You said everything I wanted to say. So, one of my all-time favorite Paul ballads. It's a classic. I love George's guitar flourishes in there. And, Paul revealed later in life, he was talking about how he was responsible for the 4, what is it called? Chords, the dun dun dun, whatever that's called.
Oh, the little riff there.
The riff that makes the song what it is was George actually suggested that. So that's the song really. And it's a simple solo, but it sends chills down my spine. I love the solo on that. So Number 4, And I Love Her. Okay, I don't want to sing. I can't help it sometimes, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Diego Carlin says, "And I Love Her for the anthology is a great too." It's missing something on it. It's missing everything.
It's a poppier version, right? On the anthology, a little
I like
more.
it the way it
Yeah.
turned out. And again, I was going to say claves too, but I think somebody told me this is not to show you up or anything. Claves, I think they call it. Somebody
Was it
help.
claves? I have no idea.
I said
I'm
claves for
terrible.
years.
I do it on my channel all the time. I mispronounce
This is why I don't
names
want to
and
do
things.
this. No, come on. It's not to make anybody feel bad, but
Yeah,
I have it written here. I was going to mention it. Like they say claves or claves. I don't know. Somebody tell me how to say it.
I never know.
Because we got
no, Jerry, it's the accent. That's part of the fun.
George Spanish guitar. Jim Vim says.
Yeah, Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So I should know, like, when we go back to the next one, because obviously after I'm done talking and pointing out a lot of quotes, that's how I should know that we go back to Brad, right, for number 3. All right. Now, wait,
Top 3.
I'm sure. I mean, these could all went either way. Any of these, it's so hard.
Oh, I know it.
Definitely. Big number 3. And for me, this song, see, I grew up with this album because I have an older brother and an older sister. So Hard Day's Night was played constantly. I mean, I still even have I'm telling you, my sister's original copy of her album of Hard Day's Night. So, it's kind of one of those albums that just kind of stick with me. So for me, number 3, growing up, I grew up in Indianapolis, which I've told a lot of people on my channel, and you guys know it anyway. And the Beatles came in Indianapolis in '64. Well, every single TV commercial, even when they do a anniversary, the Beatles arrived in Indianapolis in 1964, this is 1985 or whatever. They would always play this song, If I Fell. So it's got more of a memory to me for this song, and that's why it's so high, is because this song is just a beautiful ballad song of John's, and you just kind of like, kind of like that kind of mood, with this song, and it just throws you into the song of when he starts off by himself saying it, and just the whole ballad of the song. But for me, it's a memory thing of being in Indianapolis, and like I said, the commercial.
Yeah, and I think I've heard that live version in Indianapolis too. It's a great version, Brad. You're right.
Yeah, and then it's so funny. And I wasn't in Indianapolis in '64. I didn't move to Indianapolis till '68, actually. So, but still had a lot of opportunity about the Beatles and all that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is, just real quick note, where the Beatles performed in Indianapolis was at the State Fair auditorium there, and that's the same auditorium I graduated from high school in. So I'm like,
oh really? Wow, cool.
This is it.
Yeah, there's some great video footage of that show too.
And I've got the whole thing on DVD as well.
Yeah.
It's the whole concert and press conference. The press conference is actually quite rare, and the concert, but it's fabulous stuff. So that's why number 3 kind of stuck with me. It's more
definitely you got a lot of emotional connection to it.
Yeah, exactly.
John Marino adds, with or without Paul's cracking vocal. Do you mean like you like it either way, with or without, or does he likes it either way? It's good with him, or is he asking us?
I kind of like the crack in the voice. It just kind of makes Paul to be a little more human, I guess. Not that John or George or Ringo are not human, but when you hear these albums, they're all done perfect, and it's kind of fun to hear mistakes and stuff like that.
All right. You're up next, Matt.
Yep. All right. Number 3 for me is another classic Beatles standard. It's an instant Paul McCartney classic. Can't Buy Me Love. Number 3. I put it at 3. Wasn't it the number 1 song as part of that when the Beatles hit like the top 5 single spots in April of '64? I think it was that was the top one. Can't Buy Me Love was leading the charge, so to speak. And was it 9 or 7 weeks at number 1? But it had a long run at number 1. Can't Buy Me Love. It really.
I think.
It just. I was reading somewhere that George Martin suggested they start with the chorus. Does that sound right? Instead of singing the verses first, he thought, let's change it up and just.
That sounds like something I've heard.
Yeah, blast right into the chorus. Can't buy me. Just get right into it and just grab people. You got George's kind of countryish solo, which is great. And it's in the field scene in the movie, which is so fun and uplifting, and it fits that scene so great. And what more can you say about Can't Buy Me Love? Paul plays it. He's played it for decades now in his live shows.
Mhm.
The Beatles played it right through 65, I believe, on their shows. And it's a standard. It's a classic standard song. And I gave it number 3.
Oh, I love going last because then I don't have to repeat it.
Good job.
I don't have to repeat it. Number 3, Can't Buy Me Love. And this was one that
No, just tell me to shut up if I'm stealing your thunder to say,
no,
Matt, cut it
in
off.
this
right
case, in future shows, but in this case, I feel relieved. I don't have to say it, because but "Can't Buy Me Love" is a song that, for some reason, when you do these rankings, for me anyway, I find like there's something like, no, it's got to be higher. It's got to be 1 or 2. "Can't Buy Me Love." It's "Can't Buy Me Love," And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Try to like really think what you like best. It's tough, like we said. Where I
Yeah,
go.
it's hard. Yeah.
But anyway, I put it number 3, but you nailed it. What else can I say about it? I don't think I could add differently is that, yeah, that it could have put it 1 or 2. It's such a great classic. And I'll add, didn't that song, wasn't that the single that got a lot of pre-orders or something? There was something that happened.
Oh, the pre-sales on it. Yeah, I think were phenomenal. Yeah.
Pre-sales.
Mhm.
Pre-sales. Can't Buy Me Love.
But one more thing I want to say, it's, how we all joke about the Beatles channel, we get sick of the same songs over and over again. Can't Buy Me Love is one of those songs for me that, even though it's overplayed, I don't get sick of it. There are some Beatles songs when they come on, I go, oh, not again.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
I always enjoy Can't Buy Me Love. It just I always
Yeah,
tune in and listen.
I don't get tired of it. It's funny. I like I called it a disjointed solo. There's some guitar, so I like it.
Yeah, it's disjointed, but I don't know. I always thought it had like a country kind of style.
Oh, yeah,
I don't, but yeah, it disjointed. That could kind of fit it too. Yeah.
And in fact, Paul once did a country-esque version of "Can't Buy Me Love." I think it was when he did
The Unplugged series.
MTV. He did it on that too.
Yeah.
I know he did it when I saw him on Up Close, MTV
Yeah,
Up Close. And yeah, that was "What Can't Buy Me Love" was really
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's kind of a fall
country-esque. Yeah. All right. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting closer, folks. Number 2, Brad.
Oh man.
Wow. Well, process of elimination, you guys are going to know what it is, but we're just coming full circle again. Matthew Street, you hit on it. Joe, you hit on it. Can't Buy Me Love.
We're close on that one. We're close.
And it was so exciting to see it in the film, and I remember playing with my friends out in the street. We all be kind of running around like they were when we're out, and they push open the door and they go running steps and running around. And, my friends and I, we all did that. So it's kind of a more, back again.
Yeah.
Memories, running around in the field, backyard. Okay.
It's one of those songs that makes you want to run around,
I just started thinking, as you mentioned that, earlier I was saying how I don't use the same song twice in a movie. Please don't. I like the way it comes in later on, again, in A Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
When they were trying to break Ringo out of the jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually love it being repeated, and that's it's like one more time. It's funny. That's bizarre. I forgot about that example.
But that does work. You're right, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny too. Like I could have been number 2 for me as well, but I put something else there. All right, Matthew Street. What do you think? Number 2.
Right. Well, my number 2, it's kind of my one weird one for the day, I think, in the sense that in my world, it's one of my Beatle classics. It's just been one of those songs that since I was a little kid, I've always had an affinity to this song. I've just always been drawn to it. And not to get too heavy here with spiritual stuff, but I'm a spiritual person. I have a strong faith in my life, not to get off the path. And I'm sure John perhaps wasn't leaning this way when he wrote this song, but the lyrics of this song, the deep uplifting message, it's spiritual in a way to me, is Anytime at All.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me. It's just a fast rocker with great guitar fills. You got George and Paul, piano and guitar respectively, doing the solo, banging that out, the great drumming in it. But the words to it, this is one of those songs that the lyrics kind of touched me from when I was very young. Not to repeat the whole song, but when the sun is faded away, I'll make it shine for you. I will sympathize for you when you're feeling sorry and sad. There's nothing I won't do for you. Call me. I'll be there. Shoulder to cry on. I hope it will be mine. Don't be sad. Call me. It's one of those songs that for people that are suffering from either, depression or down out there, or their life's not going well and they need that spiritual lift. it's not a religious song per se, but the message behind it could be spiritual in nature. And for me, it always kind of has been. And so I've always had a special closeness to Any Time at All as a rocker. I love it as a rock and roll song, but I love the message of it. And it's my number 2.
Good point. Very good point. Yeah, that's nice.
So well said. And I never really thought of it that way. I mean, sure, I get the idea of this, being there for somebody, obviously, but you put it so strongly that I look at it differently from after you say that. That is really something.
Well, it's got the dual meaning. It could be someone you need, like a friend when you're suffering something bad in your life or sadness, but there's also the spirituality of it if you want to look at it from that angle. And I'm not saying John was writing it from that angle, but you could perceive it that way if you want to, look at these things differently.
It almost made me want to go back and listen to it again now. That's
yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go listen now.
Too bad they couldn't find a place for it in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have loved it in the movie. Oh.
All right. So that's down to me now. Number 2 now.
Oh, crunch time.
This is my kind of, I guess, odd placement here. But I love You Can't Do That. Always loved that. I put it at number 2. Classic John, being in that kind of position, laying down the law, this is what happens to you if you cheat on me, kind of thing. I'm gonna leave you flat. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I don't know, just a little more bite, a little more like John Edge. I love that. And I love it. What can you say? We keep saying I love the way John belts it out. I love the way he sings it. He's so personal, so he really means it. He feels it. And John plays. I think John plays the guitar solo on that too.
Yes. Yeah,
which is
like I said, his solo is just perfect for the song. He never did a lot of solos with the Beatles, but in that song, he just nailed it. It's raw and it rocks.
Yeah, I missed it if you mentioned it. I'm sorry if you had mentioned it.
Oh, no. It's just a great solo from John. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I did say I was going to, good thing I wrote it down. I was going to talk about the cowbell. Yeah, I don't like cowbell that's really, how can I say it, if it's too, intrusive. But there's some versions of You Can't Do That. Again, going back to the Beatles' second album, which I love. I don't hear it as pronounced.
It's not
perhaps.
As prominent. Yeah, the mix. It's buried in the mix.
Yeah, so I kind of like that that version of it. I say that a lot. It's blasphemy. I know. And when
cowbell for you.
I went through a period where, again, as a younger person, I was like, no, I'm only going to listen to the way it was intended. People used to bring out Beatles U.S. albums, and I'd say, what do you think of the album Yesterday Today? I'd say, there's no such album. I'd be snobby about it. What do you think of Meet the Beatles? No such album. Patootie on that or whatever. But the cowbell, I'll also think, another one that comes to mind is I Call Your Name. There's some versions of that thing where it's even a little delayed. The cowbell's like, I call your name. He starts singing it later on. It's ding, 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 ding. It's really loud.
There's one version I have somewhere where you can really hear the cowbell on
that. Boy, that bugs me. And we'll get to that when we do, I guess, the past masters stuff, which I guess we will do at some point.
I guess we could try to rank those too. Sure.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
So, number 2, let's see if we get any more comments here. I guess we're talking about a feel-good album. I don't know if we're talking about the second.
It must be the Hard Day's Night. Yeah, feel-good album. I would agree.
Jim Vim, John could write meaningful pop songs.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim.
And I put this up before, but Cherry Carter said You Can't Do That was in the live set all along. Yeah, they used it in the live set. I know they do it in Australia, Melbourne.
Right through I know the U.S. tour that year they played it. Yeah.
John Marino, what a perfect single. Can't Buy Me Love and You Can't Do That. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
1-2 punch.
Should do a top 10 of cowbell songs.
I don't know if I know enough cowbell songs.
Yeah,
I can think of 3 or 4. That's about it.
All right. So those good remarks there. Okay, now this is it.
Oh man!
Gee, I wonder what it's going to be.
I know. They're trying to keep score, and those.
I think based on what I've kept kind of a loose thing, and I think could this be a first where we all match?
Yeah, I don't know how. I wasn't going to match exactly. I think originally when I did this on my, I did some videos where I was doing all my rankings. It changes. That's another thing. we just tend to mention sometimes.
Yeah.
That are ranking. This is today. This is this
Right,
week or month. It changes. But anyway, let's go, Brad. You're first.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's kind of going to know what it is, but it's definitely Hard Day's Night for me.
Yep.
It really is. It's just it kicks the movie off, it kicks the song off, but as soon as you hear that, guitar at the beginning of it, it begins the movie. And here's one of the books that I first got when I first started collecting Beatles stuff. And this is the first scene that they show in Hard Day's Night. And
oh yeah.
just as a side note, I mean, this is Pendington Station, that's the station that they did that, where they're running through the beginning for Hard Day's Night.
Didn't it look like George got hurt when he fell too?
Yeah, when he fell.
I think that was
Man,
real.
I would have knocked my teeth out, broken my jaw.
Somebody was asking one of these comments. I missed it. It said, it was about the falling. Was that real? I think that's what's about that, and I think it is real. It's a real.
It looks real to me.
Yeah, they turned around and laughed at him, and kind of.
I don't know how he got up from that. Look, hit the pavement like that.
Amazing, but Hard Day's Night was the kicker song, and I think everybody knows that song, even if you're not a Beatles fan. And I'll show you this real quick. But when I was in England, I wrote.
I'll try to blow that up if I can, maybe.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see if I get to turn. No, I can't. I can't get to turn.
Oh, I can see it, Brad. I can see it. Good.
Okay, I went on a historic train ride.
Yeah.
And the train ride was the exact same kind of train like they do in Hard Day's Night. So that's first.
Oh yeah.
So that's exactly like they did in Hard Day's Night. And I did a whole video when I was in England, because
holy cow,
Pendington Station is right in the heart of downtown London. So that's what it looks like today.
I fought the war for your sword.
Once you saw, you won. But that's what it looks like today. But back then in '64, that's the station.
That's the one. Yeah.
And that that leads everywhere. The trains all go from there, and the taxis are all there, and all that kind of stuff. So, make a long story longer, but I just kind of thought I'd share a little kind of fun memory for me of being at Pendington Station and riding a historic train, which was pretty much the exact same train like they did in Hard Day's Night. So the song for me, number one, is Hard Day's Night, because it's just a fantastic song. And then the funny thing about writing that song, Paul and John wrote that song on a matchbook.
Yeah. I know Walter Shenson, the producer, was always fond of telling that story at the Fest for Beatles.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
I was Beatle Fest then, and that is, how impressive is that? We need a song, one more song to run, something to run across the credits.
Yeah,
he said. And the next day, he said they came with their guitars at the ready, and here it is. They started playing Hard Day's Night. Okay, here it is.
There it is.
What
Here it is.
I can hardly
unbelievable.
Tim Allen says this show was very clean.
Because we're very clean old men.
He's very clean, Yeah,
so we used a lot of good stuff there, Brad. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great pictures.
Let's go, Matt Street.
Oh, well, let's continue with the conversation. Of course, it's a Hard Day's Night, and I got to go back for a brief minute just at my youth. As a little kid, when I was on that, I keep mentioning the Toy Pony, but again, this was the other album my parents got me along with Meet the Beatles. And when I was on that little toy spring pony, bouncing up and down, my dad tells me to this day, God bless him, he's 90 years old, that I wore out the song A Hard Day's Night, which kicks off this album. He said, you kept wanting me to lift the needle and put it back, lift the needle and put it back. He said, I love that song. And how can you not love it? From the opening chord, it's just a fabulous ride. It just pulls you right in. You got the dueling lead vocals with John, and then Paul takes a lead vocal, and you get that otherworldly guitar solo from George. It's just flawless pop perfection, and I don't care how many times I hear it on the radio, like I mentioned about Can't Buy Me Love. I never skip A Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
If it comes on the Beatles channel, I listen. I turn it up. Yeah. It's one of those songs that hits me deep inside. It's always been an emotionally attached song to me. And from when I was a little child, a toddler, and I'll always love it. It's my number one.
Yeah, well said again. Thank you. I'm putting myself last every time. Save me the energy. A Hard Day's Night, Lingo McHarrison. I guess it's unanimous. Yeah. And I didn't put that number one when I did my ranking video at one time. Which, I don't know if I still have it up or if I have it.
If you may allow us to ask, what did you have before you?
I can't remember. I can't remember. But I know what I'm pretty sure it wasn't A Hard Day's Night. Now, if somebody says yes, Joe, it was. I'm telling you, folks. we're all getting older.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what else can I say? The classic opening chord. You know right away what it is. It's classic. You know, it's I know that's out. The movie starts the movie, starts the album. Pure classic Beatles, and it always reminds me of Beatlemania. I mean, Beatlemania is that song, and I can't get the image out of my head from when I was a very young boy, and still seeing the girls chasing them. It was also there's boy fans too on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
mostly I'm thinking girls, and also cartoon, the Beatles cartoon. It's been a hard day's night. They had this ending where they would unplug. I don't know. They're unplugging their instruments. They're tired. Then Ringo in the cartoon unplugs his drums and deflates, something like that. And then everywhere they go, the girls are after them. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the wacky, crazy heart of Beatlemania, that song. But I will throw in again. I'm not wild about that. Some of the versions, really clear versions, bongos. We could hear the bongos in there a little loud. Don't I
Mhm.
don't I like it better when a little more
When they're more
subdued.
subdued. Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's a hard day's night, but I don't need that in there. But
Gotcha.
that's why I love like the United Artists album and so on. So let's just see what we got here. Please never colorize a hard day's night. I think they have. I'm not a fan of colorization. I think it's funny. I think
I'm
that a
sure
hard
if they
day's night
haven't yet, they will someday
it
as the
kind of works
technology
as
advances.
Liverpool, gray, maybe black and white.
Mm.
The Beatles, a documentary feel, but at the same time, I'm getting a little bit more easygoing with as I get older. As a movie fan, I'm surprised to hear myself say I don't even mind if they do good colorization, if it looks good, and they always have the original available. But I'd be interested to see what they could do with that. But it wouldn't be a Hard Day's Night, the movie, to me.
It'd be interesting to see how it come off. That's for sure. I mean, like Matthew Street's got the exact same video. Actually, I saw Matthew Street's video and I went out and bought it because he talked about it. But Matthew was talking about they colorized and did Washington D.C.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched their video. And I'm like, oh yeah, starting to type, and I got to order that. That looks great, and I bought it, and I thought, well, I don't know if I really want to see it in color, but after seeing it, they pull it off pretty well. It's a Japanese
Yeah. It wasn't perfect, but it was interesting to watch. It was fun.
wasn't perfect, but it's like you were saying, like Hard Day's Night. If they did a good copy of color instead of like making a fake green and a fake
Right.
then I'd be kind of okay with it. But if they're going to colorize it and it's got all these, almost like Japanese colors.
Almost like the colors are fading into one another and they don't look right. Yeah, I don't like that. But
And please don't ever put Help in black and white.
Right.
No.
I mean, you need that.
that film is just
James Bell, A Hard Day's Night, has a great energy, and I loved the combined piano and guitar solo. That's the part that, I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, good point in that, definitely. But
So,
yeah, didn't mean to interrupt real quick. Sorry, Joe. I mean,
okay.
Back to what Matthew said. I mean, one of Matthew Street's one of your first videos. I remember when you came on YouTube. One of your first video was talking about Hard Day's Night, how much you played the album and sat on your back and forth and all that.
Yeah, that goes back. Yeah, that's almost 4 years ago. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. So, any last? I'm just looking for what does Wes say? Wes Wennerstrom says, since I consider this to be the Beatles' greatest album, my ranking should surprise no one. All 13 songs end up tied at number one.
Well, I agree in the sense that out of the Beatles' early albums, it's my number one. Out of the first 4 albums, I would definitely pick Hard Day's Night as my number one. Out of the UK, first 4 UK albums.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Great chat. Kathy Kirk says, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And this was another blast. It was a lot of fun, but I'm glad it's over because you don't have to worry about that.
And we had a little hiccup in the beginning, but we recovered.
Oh, yeah. So folks, from time to time, I'm sorry about that for anybody who knows about it, wasn't here. It was supposed to be on at 2:00 Eastern. We got on at close to 40 minutes late. A lot of problems I'm having. Not always, but I had a lot of problems today. I won't bore you with the technical details, but in the future, like I said, I'm sorry if that happens. We're going to have a start time. We're going to try to get it started at that time. We could be 5 minutes late, 10 sometimes. I hope not a half an hour. But either way, it'll always be up as a video after. So if you miss it, you get to see the video. All right, so that's good. And you can go back and watch the playback.
That's the nice part is so many people participate live, but I found that you had a lot of people come afterwards to watch it, which was great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
Really
so
good.
nice of them to do that.
You just
Yeah.
pull up and you get to enjoy it and all that kind of stuff at your own leisure. Robert, just I don't mean to interrupt you. Robert sent me a text, Robert P, and he wanted to know what album this was. He says that's not Hard Day's Night. And
hold on a minute.
Robert sent me a text of this here, and this is actually a very, very rare copy. It's from Venezuela, and it's a first pressing from 1964 of Hard Day's Night, but it's a different cover.
Yeah, wow.
But that's
nice.
Extremely rare. Yeah.
Before anybody asks, 3 shelves down on the left, that's a laser disc.
Oh yes, you're right. Very good. Well, yeah.
People are gonna say, "What album is that? What I gotta have that album?"
Hard Day's Night Train.
And I noticed, Brad, you have one that I just got not too long ago. The one on the second row, farthest away from you. Is that a French? France?
The French one.
I love that. I used to have that for Four Garçons dans la Vente.
Yeah, I love that. Four Garçons dans la Vente. Chansons du film, les Beatles.
France and Japan and Sweden. This one's from Sweden down here. You know,
yeah.
These are that's the actual. This is actually the real. If I don't knock everything over, I put it in plastic, but this is the original from 1964, the Beatles Hard Day's Night box that I still have all the cards.
Oh, the trading cards. Yeah,
cards. That's the original.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's a nice little collectible.
Great show.
I have some of the cards, but not a box like that. That's nice.
And also the train down below here, Hard Day's Night. That's very hard to get. The Hard Day's Night train.
And if you want to see more of this, you can watch Beetle Brad's channel.
Oh,
there he is.
There it is.
Four Garçons. I love that, and I don't have it anymore. I had it in my original collection.
All right.
Yeah,
I love this. This is one of my favorite Hard Day's Night collectibles. I don't have as much as Brad does there, but this one I from Paris I like, or France.
It's sounding too, isn't it?
Great cover. Great
you're
cover.
right. Sounds
and
great.
The sound is good too. Now we have a question here. Will you be for sale next week? We're going to do Beatles for sale next time.
Yeah.
But again, I should mention at this time you say next week. Again, we're trying to make these more or less weekly, but because we have different schedules and it's hard to find the time, we can't make it right now a regular day and time. You know, same bat time, same bat channel. Well, the same channel, but not the same time or day. Yeah. So, you know, we'll let you know as we've been doing through our 3 channels. You know, check out, of course, if you have it, Beetle Brad and Matthew Street's channel and mine, wherever you watch it, you're watching on mine. Subscribe, and thanks for your support. So, yeah, this has been a blast. Like I said, anybody else have anything else to add at this time?
This was a lot of fun. It was. I'm not going to use the T word, how T it was, but yeah, this was fun, and I'm looking forward. I think it's going to get even more challenging as we move forward here with some of these albums. It's going to be difficult.
As long as it's a Beatles album, I'm going to have trouble.
That's right. That's right. That says it all.
So thank you, everybody, for watching. And for Beetle Brad and Matthew Street, this is Joe Mayo, a.k.a. Mean Mr. Mayo.
Take care,
see you next time.
Thanks for your comments. And
peace and love. Peace and love.
Yeah.
Take care, folks.